This is WVUE, Channel 8.
Tonight, it's the award-winning news team of Robin Cohen, Lionel Bienvenu with sports, and Ken O'Quinn with weather. Live from WVUE, this is News 8.
Good evening, everyone. Robin's off tonight. I'm George Ryan. The Saints and the 49ers, always a good matchup, and tonight was no different. Lionel Bienvenu is here now with more on what I can only describe as a Saints heartbreaker.
Yeah, I tell you what, George, always a good game, as you said. Saints 49ers, tough NFC West matchup. Usually close, and it was tied 10-10 at the half. As you saw on Channel 8 just minutes ago, the Saints lost to the 49ers. Saints defense did hold down the 49ers' high-scoring offense, though. No 31 points this time, but they got enough to win the game. Let's take a look at it and see what happened. The difference was Mike Coper field goals, 2 of them in the second half to make it 16-10. But the Saints got inside the 5 with 30 seconds left. Here's what happened. You can see the clock. Hebert had to scramble out to the right. He will throw it into the end zone, picked off by Eric Davis with 10 seconds left. Bad decision by Bobby. Should have thrown it away. Didn't. Picked off the final. 16-10. 49ers go to 3-1. The Saints dropped to 2-2. Saints defense only gave up 1 touchdown, George. 3 field goals, but Saints offense couldn't score enough to beat them. Let's go now to the Superdome. Get our first reaction live on the Dome floor with Ron Swoboda and Reggie Jones.
Got it, Lionel. And Reggie Jones, we appreciate you joining us live after what's got to be a tough defeat considering how well the defense played.
It was a tough loss. We went out, we played hard. We played probably the #1 offense in the league. They played well, and we played well. I mean, it was a tough game, went down to the wire. Unfortunately, we didn't come out on top.
Disappointing. The thing was the offense has not been scoring for you. Does it hurt to know that they didn't put points up again?
Well, the fans can look at it and say that, and the press can look at it and say that, but the defense as a whole will probably look at it and say we shouldn't have let them score 16 points. If we let them score less, the offense scored 10, we still can come out on top.
Well, if the 49ers are the cream of the NFC West, you guys know you can play with them.
We knew that coming in. I mean, we knew it was going to be tough, and we came out and we played well. They played well. Like I said, they were fortunate to come out on top. We were unfortunate to come out on the bottom.
Hurt a little now?
I'm very sore right now. I got banged around, took a shot.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you being with us, Reggie Jones.
Sure, no problem.
Good luck. Take care. Thanks. What a gentleman, but you've seen it happen here. Reggie Jones live with us. We'll be back with a little more later, Lionel.
All right, Ron, we'll see you in the locker room in just a few minutes. Again, defense did the job, as Ron just said, George. Only 16 points to a team averaging 31 points a game.
That's right.
You think you would win if you hold them down that much, but the Saints couldn't do it. They dropped to 2-2 on the year. And again, we'll have more coming up in sports.
Okay, Lionel. Well, anytime you get a bunch of hoodats together, you know things are going to be pretty interesting, win, lose, or draw. Our Karen Boudry is at the Superdome as well, and she's been keeping an eye on the fans, a full-time job. She's been cheering on the black and gold as well. Karen, what's the situation there?
Well, Saints fans really did get their money's worth tonight. It was a tough loss for them, and they're a little bit disappointed, but they're not giving up on the Saints. They are going to come back next week and watch on their TV sets, and they're going to be back in the Dome in 2 weeks. Saints fans know how to stand by their team. Not only are they there through thick and thin, but they do their best to keep the opponent from hearing the plays. There are many ways to be a Saints fan. There's the average, the avant-garde, and the religious.
Right after the Pope left, we started winning. So I put the outfit on, I made a Pope outfit, and the Saints started winning.
Charlie's Saints Marching Club is a boisterous fixture at home in the Dome and away. They take Saints football very seriously.
We got to play some D, keep aggressive, be on the offense, and get back in there.
Today's contest saw a mean matchup with a few fisticuffs, and Saints fans take that personally.
I want to get down on the 50 and do it with them. I want to do it with them.
All right, as I said, these aren't fair weather fans. They're going to be back. They're going to be in front of the TV sets next week watching and hoping for another win, and they'll be back here in the Dome to cheer the Saints on again in 2 weeks. Reporting live from the Superdome, I'm Karen Boudry, WVUE News 8.
Okay, Karen, thank you. Well, someone who bought a Quick Pick lotto ticket at Church Point has a lot to cheer about tonight. Church Point is a small town of about 4,500 people in Acadia Parish, and it's where the sole ticket worth $20 million in the Louisiana lottery was sold. In case you missed them, here are the numbers drawn in last night's game: 15, 19, 20, 27, 35, and 44. This week's jackpot starts all over again at $1 million. Organizers of this year's No AIDS Pledge Walk say it broke new ground on several fronts, both in the number of walkers participating and the number of dollars raised. A record 20,000 did their part to step up the fight against AIDS as they walked in Audubon Park. For one, today's event had a personal meeting. This woman lost a daughter to AIDS. Dolores Losel says her daughter Andrea took part in last year's walk and would want to be remembered as a vital human being.
She didn't even want to see people toward the last, except her close family. She wanted people to remember her as she had lived, and that was with every ounce of her being.
Walkers raised more than $350,000, money that will be distributed statewide to agencies for AIDS and HIV research. In Washington, D.C., thousands marched to demand more money and attention go to the AIDS fight. Marchers shouted shame as they passed the White House, a verbal attack at what they say is the Bush administration's lack of support for people dying of AIDS. Tomorrow, one of the men who may or may not want to become president will make his wishes known again. Ross Perot is promising to make a final decision tomorrow. His supporters have worked to get his name on the ballot in all 50 states, but some of them are still confused with his on-again, off-again attitude toward the presidential race. In the Houston suburb of Clear Lake, some Perotites met, and emotions are running high on the eve of his next announcement.
This is trash politics. This is somebody is making noise just for the sake of, getting grandstand attention. This does not represent what the grass movement is about.
It looked like he really was going to have a full force effort. And then one day he says, no, I don't want to do this. Now he's talking to people in the White House, and we don't know what about. It's very strange, and I guess at this point in time, he's going to have to say something very strong to get my support again. And I've worked a lot of hours.
And Perot says he'll meet with his supporters tomorrow, then go on national television to tell the rest of us about his plans. He says he made a mistake dropping out when he did, but recent polls do not show him gathering much of the vote if he should re-enter that race. With only about 5 weeks left before voters go to the polls, President Bush spent his day pressing the flesh in Michigan. He's covered 230 miles on his whistle-stop train trip, hoping to recapture the magic of Harry Truman's train travels. Bush told voters that his opponent's plan to raise mileage requirements for U.S. automobiles would toss 40,000 auto workers onto the unemployment line. Clinton wants cars to get 40 miles to the gallon by the turn of the century. The Democratic challenger spent his day in Iowa. While there, Mr. Clinton took jabs at the president's farm policy, accusing Mr. Bush of waiting right before the election to broaden help for wheat farmers. In South Africa, talks between powerful leaders broke off today, dampening hopes that the country's political crisis would be resolved anytime soon. ANC leader Nelson Mandela and South African President F.W. de Klerk met, promising to restart black and white negotiations. The head of the Zulu-dominated Freedom Party says he has not been consulted and will not go along with any agreements made by Mandela and de Klerk. They say he has misinterpreted their meeting, and he and his followers are welcome in the negotiations. 16 juvenile delinquents overpowered their guards and escaped from a Georgia detention center. 8 of them are still on the loose tonight. The 4 girls and 12 boys attacked the guards and fled the Regional Youth Development Center in Gainesville, Georgia, Friday night. None of the guards was seriously injured, and 8 of the teenagers were immediately recaptured. The others are believed to be traveling southwest in a state-owned automobile. Here in New Orleans, a 14-year-old suspected of stealing a car is hospitalized after crashing it today. Police say the teen stole the car from a church parking lot on Gallier Street this morning. Hours later, they say they caught him. The suspect had crashed the car into a utility pole and was pinned inside it. Emergency crews had to cut him out, and he's hospitalized tonight. When he's released, he'll face charges including auto theft. A magician in Nevada was recovering and is recovering tonight after a, well, check that. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Well, after watching tonight's game, you may need some cheering up. The extended outlook just might help. I'll explain coming up in weather.
Stars and Spice Fever sweeps America with Popeye's new Super Box. 10 pieces of chicken, mashed potatoes with Cajun gravy, and 4 biscuits only $8.99.
Enjoy lasting beauty with Delary Enterprises patio covers that protect against sun and rain. Delary screen enclosures enhance the value of your home, or Delary carports provide valuable car and boat protection. Delary is the exclusive distributor and manufacturer of high-quality Delport aluminum patio materials known for strength, durability, and lasting value. Buying from Delary assures quality at affordable prices plus a job done right.
I guarantee it.
For the best for your home, call Delary Enterprises.
Now playing at Walmart.
Toys! New stuff is here.
Come see the funner things in life.
Try them out. Lay them away.
And save a lot on Christmas Day. Turtle mutation figures are just $5.83.
Yes.
Mickey Mobiles are only $98.94. And Super Bigfoot is just $168.96.
They're filled with toys.
And stuffed with savings.
The new stuff.
Walmart, always the low price. Always.
Taking the kids for a swim, stepping out for a bite. You're looking at an endangered lifestyle, jeopardized by the alarming rate of coastal erosion. That's why Freeport-McMoran and others are funding beach cones. These lightweight concrete cones work with the wave's energy and trap sand as water washes over them. Beach cones are being tested in areas threatened by erosion. Because we all need a place to come home to at the end of a busy day.
Tenants at the Wego Trailer Park in West Wego say they're caught in the middle with no gas and no place to go in a battle over the gas lines in their neighborhood. For a month now, the tenants here have been forced to cook with propane or electric hot plates. Meantime, work has been underway to replace the plastic gas distribution lines in the park with metal pipes. Residents say repairs are now complete on about 10 trailers, but their service has been not been restored, and they cannot get answers from the city or the park owner.
There's a lot of people in here that cannot move because they don't have the money. How are you going to pay a plumber with food stamps? Please tell me.
West Wego Mayor Robert Billiot says he will have inspectors visit the trailer park this week to see if the repairs are up to code. He says before anyone can resume gas service, the city has to be sure that plugs have been installed on the gas lines that have not been repaired. People in Livingston, Louisiana say things are still not the same after they were the unwilling victims of the nation's worst train derailment involving toxic chemicals. September 28, 1982 is a day they will never forget. That's when an Illinois Central train left the tracks, exploded, and then burned. The flames weren't out for weeks. An engineer on the train was convicted of drinking and letting someone else drive the train. The town won millions of dollars in a lawsuit, but people there say they've been plagued with illnesses ever since. State officials say that's simply not true. They say the area is very safe and constantly monitored. After weeks of helping victims of Hurricane Andrew in Florida, the 82nd Airborne Division is returning home to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Many who were left homeless after the storm say the military's presence in South Florida was instrumental in stopping looting. The soldiers say they feel grateful that they could be of help in the wake of the storm, and for some, being able to help those left behind meant something more.
Growing up here and knowing the area, so brings back a lot of memories, and then being able to help our friends, it really kind of take it to heart.
The soldiers helped set up tent cities, now housing many hurricane victims, and then they patrolled neighborhoods wrecked by the storm. Some celebrities are doing what they can do best to help the hurricane victims. A benefit concert in Miami last night raised more than $1 million just in ticket sales alone. The concert was beamed by satellite to tent cities around South Florida and was organized by singer Gloria Estefan. It featured performances by Jimmy Buffett, Paul Simon, Crosby, Stills and Nash, comedian Whoopi Goldberg, and many others. 70% of the money raised will go to help hurricane victims immediately. The rest will be used to set up a long-term emergency fund. Well, coming up in sports, you can guess it, we'll go back live to the Superdome for more reaction to tonight's Saints game. Lionel will have that, plus all the highlights when News 8 Tonight continues.
One bright spot for schools these days is the Cashback program from Delshamps. And now, Cashback is back. Just shop Delshamps' great values and save the green receipt tapes for the school you want to help. We'll give them 1% of the total back in cash. Cash that adds up fast. Cash for lab equipment, sports equipment, computers, library books, art supplies. Cash for anything that's needed. Cash to enhance our children's education. Cashback for schools. It's back from Delshamps.
The sound of the pencil rapping gets my toes tap-tapping. Can't help thinking of the news in the Times-Picayune. If you wanna wanna know what's shaking, and all the news that's breaking. For the best place to go dining is the time ticking. They've got cars and sports and the weather report. Yes, it's all. It's the time ticking.
In the last 2 years, Congressman Bob Livingston has cast tough votes on bills affecting every area of our lives. 796 times. Not everyone in Washington is out of touch. When a guy like Bob Livingston stands up for us, we should let him know how we feel. Vote.
When I walked in that first day 36 years ago and the smell of coffee roasting, boy, it made me want a cup of coffee. It's been that way ever since. We do all the roasting right here in this building. It's always been that way. Roast it, put it in trucks, and go straight to the grocer's shelves. Always fresh. No one else does that.
When it comes to fresh roasted, fresh delivered coffee, nothing beats community.
It's been a way of life.
News 8 Sports is brought to you in part by LAS Enterprises.
I can't believe how much money I've saved since LAS installed my new windows. I'll bet I saved enough money to get my overhang fixed.
Right now, LAS will give you 20% off new overhang plus your choice of a free LAS WeatherGuard window. Our new seamless gutters installed absolutely free.
I'm going to call LAS now.
So don't guess. You should call LAS right now, too, because this offer is only while supplies last.
It's just one of those
It'll be
games.
all right. It'll be
take
all right.
3 days to recover. The city won't be the same for about the first half of the week.
Hey, the good news is it's only 4 games into the season. Playoffs weren't in the line. It wasn't the end of the season when it counted. There's still a lot of football to be played. What hurts the most about this one, George, is the Saints had a chance to win it.
Yes.
They really did. There were 2 keys to the game for the Saints. First, the Saints defense had to slow up the high-scoring, 31-point averaging 49ers offense. Second, the Saints offense had to score early and often. Well, the Saints came up with 1 out of 2. The defense held the 49ers to 16 points, only 1 touchdown and 3 field goals, but the Saints offense was shut out in the second half, and that was the key. Not enough to do it against the 49ers tonight. 49ers down near the goal line in the first quarter. Jerry Rice will stretch for the goal line. Now, looks like he's got it, but the refs called this a fumble. The Saints dodged a serious bullet on that one. They had the ball. Saints managed to drive. 3rd and 5, Bobby Hebert to Quinn Early across the middle. Quinn is off. He gets good yardage, and then a late hit tacks on some more. The Saints in good position, and they cashed in. Bobby Hebert this time will go to Eric Martin for the touchdown. Nicely done. 7-0 Saints. Steve Young was really the difference in this one, though. He outgained the entire Saints offensive backfield in the first half. He runs it 26 yards down to the 1-yard line. 49ers then scored it to tie it at 7. 49ers also got a field goal to lead 10-7 when Hebert went to Quinn Early again. 27 yards on this one on the nice play, and the Saints were back in business right near the end of the half. Right before intermission, Morton Anderson came in, hit the 42-yarder. Good. That sent it into the locker room, tied at 10. Third quarter now. Morton another chance. This one to give the Saints the lead. The 37-yarder is no good. Blown opportunity. Another missed opportunity comes up here. The Saints are moving. Hebert will go, and he's intercepted, though, by David Whitmore. Kill another drive. 49ers got 2 field goals by Mike Kofer. 16-10 they had the lead. This is Kofer doing it right here. But the Saints still had life. They got down inside the 5 with 30 seconds left. Here's what happened at the end of the game. Hebert had to scramble. He threw it up in the end zone, and it was picked by Eric Davis. 10 seconds left. I don't know about the decision by Bobby. Should have thrown it out, but that's the way it goes. 16-10 the final score. 49ers 3-1. Saints go to 2-2. Right now, let's go to the Dome. And Ron, you hold the 49ers or any team to 16 points. You think you're going to win it, but that was not the case tonight.
Really, and you keep looking for some offense, Lionel. Bobby Hebert had 3 interceptions tonight. He could have easily had 4 or 5 because they were throwing because they had to get some points late in this ball game, and in fact couldn't come up with that, and everybody's seen that. But the defense playing again, and Vaughn Johnson, of course, against Atlanta last week, you played so much nickel and dime that there wasn't a spot for you on the field, a guy that's gone to the Pro Bowl. Was it good to get in the Okie tonight?
Oh, it felt good to get in there and play and fly around a little bit, especially against the 49ers. You know, we always play those guys tough. Hey, unfortunately, they pulled it out today.
How tough is it to be on this defense that played so well and watching that 3-minute drill when you had to get a touchdown and Bobby's moving them?
Well, you know, I think the bottom line, Ron, is we're a team. You know, if we have to hold them to less than 10 points to win, then so be it. You know, we can't worry about the offense or worry about the kicking game or the defense. Hey, we're a unit. We win and we lose as a New Orleans Saints football team. It was a tough loss today. Just got to suck it up and get ready for Detroit.
Well, 2-2. A lot of people said 2-2 would be a good way to come out of the box in a very tough NFC West race.
Well, I don't know. You know, 2-2 is you always hope you play better, but you know, considering everything that happened, there's nothing we can do about it. So why worry about it? Just continue to get ready, to work hard in practice, and get ready for Detroit because they have a very explosive offense and they'll be ready to play.
Vaughn, I appreciate you being with us. I'm sure this is the last thing you wanted to do after a tough one. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ron.
Okay. Stepping in right now, too, is Fred McAfee, Saints running back. Had a chance to carry the ball a couple of times tonight, but unusual. They kind of kept you quiet out of the end zone on the kickoffs.
Well, they had a very good cover team tonight. They came down and executed well. They shed off a lot of our blocks and came down and make a few tackles.
You know, it's strange. This Saints team, to me as an observer, seems like they're having trouble blocking for the run. And, you know, they want to run the football, but it seemed to me tonight it wasn't going to happen, and they had to go upstairs.
Yeah, exactly. Our running game wasn't working that well. Bobby made a few good passes, you know, tonight, but I think we have to execute a little bit more in all areas besides passing. We need to start running the ball a little bit better, execute more on special teams. I think we'll be better.
Man, do these heartbreakers leave you laying kind of low?
Very low, very low. I thought we had it at the end right there, even though I think that we should have won it earlier in the game, but, you know, it came down to the last second there, and because just couldn't come through with it.
Okay. Fred McAfee, we really appreciate you being with us.
All right.
Thank you. Saints running back Fred McAfee and kick returner. And we do have Quinn Early. Yeah, well, we're rolling them through here tonight. Right, Quinn, a couple of big catches tonight, too. And, you know, it was an offense that really seemed to need play action and passing.
Well, you're right. You know, it's been frustrating the previous couple of weeks. And we wanted to come out tonight and prove that we can get the ball down the field and throw the ball. And I think we were successful in showing people that we can do that. You know, unfortunately, we came up a little short tonight.
This one hurts a little. Quinn, they're telling me to turn it back to him, but I appreciate you spending some time with us.
All right, thanks for having me.
Class guy, class act, and we'll send it back to you.
All right, Ron, thanks a lot. One thing to notice tonight, the play calling. I thought it was very good on the Saints. A lot of play action, a lot of mixing it up. Third one, they throw the ball. Not bad at all. Too bad they couldn't come out with the win. Now, coming up after the news, you want to keep it right here. Sports View is next. We'll go back live to the Superdome with Ron Swoboda. More interviews, hopefully, with Saints players and coaches, plus look at the rest of the NFL. Sports View with Jim Gallagher and Ron at the Dome coming up next. Then tomorrow night, 7:30 here on Channel 8, the Jim Morris Show. The coach and I will talk about the 49ers game. That's 7:30 tomorrow night, Channel 8 and Jim Morris. Now, the Saints head to Detroit next week to play the Lions. Detroit was the runner-up in the NFC Championship game last year. This year, the Lions aren't roaring so loudly. Detroit and Tampa Bay today. Lions running back Barry Sanders stripped of the ball here. Tampa Bay's Santana Dotson has it. Will they catch him? Not going to do it. Santana Dotson with the touchdown, but Mel Gray ran the kickoff back for a score. Lions led 23-20, under a minute left. Tampa Bay's Vinny Testaverde hit Ron Small with a big play. Touchdown. Bucks win it 27-23. They're 3-1. Lions drop to 1-3. In Green Bay, the Packers have found a quarterback. Against the Steelers today, former Southern Miss star Brett Favre got his first start, and it was a doozy. Favre to Sherling Starp, 76 yards. Pack in the lead.
And fiction. They're easy to use, and if you qualify, you can get the books and playback equipment by mail at no charge. So enjoy reading. Call this number in your area and take a talking book.
Mother, please come over, because it does get kind of lonely.
For more information, call 1-800-543-4702.
Combat units approaching Dodge Point, Charlie.
A day out on the water seems like a simple pleasure, unless you don't have that freedom. That's why out here, the proud men and women of our Navy are safeguarding that freedom to enjoy life's special moments.